Hello, everyone. I think my lighting might be a little bit off. Hold on one second. There we go. Okay. Hope you all can see me well. Um, this commentary is pertaining to Sean Puffy Combs. We're going to do day 25, which was yesterday. We're going to go over a few little things that went on in court. And if you'd like to donate to this great network, $Angie129 Cash App, stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. Thank you for your time. Day 25 yesterday, Monday. All right, let's get started.
Today, the jury in New York City's most famous trial of the moment, Sean Diddy Combs, viewing real-life footage of the infamous sex parties known as freak-offs, described by the defense as consensual encounters, but by the prosecution as something far more sinister. Combs denies all charges. And just a warning, this story contains accounts, descriptions, and visual content of actual or alleged events that some may find disturbing. Here's Nightline co-anchor Byron Pitts.
Behind these doors, the jury's seeing for the first time the world's been talking about for months. Videos of those notorious so-called freak-offs involving Sean Diddy Combs.
These are the videos that depicted Cassie Ventura with male escorts. And these videos, explicit though they are at the heart of the prosecutor's case to help convince the jury that Cassie Ventura was trafficked for sex.
In a key moment of this trial, wearing headphones, jurors were shown excerpt videos of freak-offs played in the courtroom for the first time today. The videos coming from a laptop belonging to Cassie Ventura.
When it came time to play these video excerpts of freak-offs, jurors put on headphones, so did the lawyers, as Sean Combs. The public screens were shut off because the gallery was not allowed to see or hear these explicit videos. But as the excerpts played, we could faintly hear the sound of music and moaning noises.
The jury also shown text messages between Combs and Ventura, in which prosecutors say he texted her, "Want to celebrate Christmas and have a freak-off tonight or Friday?" Further text messages, they said, were summoning escorts to a hotel.
Now, we've heard Cassie talk about not wanting to do them, but would go ahead and do them anyway. Felt like she was a sex worker, felt cheap, lonely, just degraded by doing them, but did them anyway. But just imagine someone calling you at Christmas time to ask you to do a freak off for Christmas. All this to me is so humiliating because at some point she had to have known that all this was going to come out in trial. They had the government had to prep her for what they were going to ask her, what was going to be revealed. And naturally all the information they're getting, came from her. But still, it's just somewhere in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, why would any human want their personal business to be put out there for people to hear? Now, members of the court, they can't see, the visual of the sex acts, just the jury panel. But it's still embarrassing because they can hear the sounds coming through the headphones of the moaning, faint sounds of moaning. It's just despicable. And this woman has allowed herself to be in this situation. The government picked up charges, made charges against him from things she put in a lawsuit where he settled with her, and that's how we came to be here today. But it's just baffling that all this is playing out in a courtroom. And she's moved on. She's had a baby, moved on with her life. But it's still despicable to me. And I just can't see how a person would want this information out here. I'm sure Sean doesn't want it out here, but it's out here. But it's sickening to me that your personal business is out here. The government is making the racketeering claims with these videos, these clips of her having sex with these men, these escorts, to show a coercion, the racketeering charge, the human trafficking charge. You're entitled to your opinion if you believe she was human trafficked or not, or even if she was a victim. But that's why these videos are being played by the government. It's to show coercion, racketeering. Once again, as I said, this is just too humiliating for me. But it is what it is. It's being played. And the jury got to see on their little monitors clips of the sexual acts. And what's even more disturbing, these acts came from her computer, laptop. So that means she had copies of these sexual acts, which to me is even more disturbing. What are you doing with the videos? How did she get the videos? Did he ask her to film from her own device. So common sense will tell you if you filmed from your own device, whether he asked you or she did it on her own, that's even it's still deplorable. And then he's blackmailing you with these sex tapes. Now put that on paper. In this commentary, it's from her own device, what they're showing in the court as of yesterday, Monday. So you mean to tell me you used your own device to film, or he sent her the copies of the sex tapes? I'm a little bit confused there. This is bad.
Also at the center of today's court proceedings, text messages, emails, and documents shown in court.
The videos came with hotel receipts, credit card statements, travel records that help give the jury a full picture of how Sean Combs allegedly got her and male escorts to different hotel rooms for the purposes of these sexual encounters.
Sean Combs stands accused of sex trafficking, racketeering, and prostitution, all charges he denies. But as the government wraps up its case over the next couple of days, a major moment in court this morning, Judge Aris Abramian dismissing a juror number 6, for lack of candor. The juror originally saying he lived in the Bronx with his fiancée, but he apparently told a court staff member that he had recently moved in with his girlfriend in New Jersey.
The worry about a juror who gives incomplete or not really forthright answers is that they could be what's called a stealth juror. Someone who is answering questions in a way that is untruthful, but to get onto a jury, to be able to give a verdict that they want, either guilty or not guilty. And that's something that no one wants in the jury.
The judge saying the record raised serious concerns as to the juror's candor, and whether he shaded answers to get on and stay on the juror. Going on to say, there's nothing the juror could say at this point that would put the genie back in the bottle.
Nothing he could say to put the genie back into the bottle. So a 41-year-old black male has been dismissed. His replacement is a white man who is 57 years of age, an architect. He is involved with the Boy Scouts. He's from Westchester County, New York, which is above New York, Manhattan, 54 minutes away. Now, we know New Jersey is right next door, assumingly, wherever he was staying with the girlfriend. So when did he move in with the girlfriend? Was he using 2 addresses at the time he got the mail for the jury summons? Where was he living, the black male, at the time he got the jury summons? New York or New Jersey? He should have kept his mouth closed. Why are you talking to people? They said he had this slip up with a staff member of the court. It said he had just moved in. So obviously she went back and told it. And it's also being said that he may have talked to a colleague, a work colleague or somebody about being on the jury. Why would you do that? And then there's another mishap with another jury member. You're going to hear about that. Somebody has sent this person a text from an unknown number asking, are they juror number 6? So this is a hot butter mess. Do we have a case of jury tampering by Mr. Sean Combs or somebody in the court? Okay? Because right now we're all over the place with this information. Juror number 6, black man, 41, gone. Replaced with a 57-year-old white man. We have 8 men on the jury. If I'm not mistaken, 8 men total. I think the 57-year-old replacement is the oldest of all the people on the jury panel. Very interesting. Has he been listening? That's another question I have. Has he been listening to what's been going on in the courtroom? Did this man take this jury summons to be on the Sean Puffy Combs trial to help get Sean off? Or he just wanted to be on the trial for whatever reason, to convict him? Either one, convict him, not convict him. Once again, another jury member has received an anonymous text asking if he is juror number 6. Who is the person that called this other juror? Judge hasn't made a decision about what to do with this second situation. So we got 2 different situations that have happened. Black man, 41, juror number 6, he's gone. Replaced by a man from Westchester County, which is 54 minutes away, about an hour away from Manhattan. I didn't even know that you can go outside of the jurisdiction when you're picking jury members. So I found that interesting, but maybe it's because it's the state of New York. I don't know. I don't know much about federal court. All this is crazy to me. It's like one thing after the other. This is supposed to be the final week for the prosecution to show all their witnesses. And now we got all this mess. It's not even Friday. Okay? I asked you all a question on my poll, because I'm going to jump on that too while I'm doing our list. About getting rid of the juror. The defense wants a mistrial since this black man has been dismissed. It was also said that when the jury came in yesterday, Sean saw that the black man was gone. He shook his head. Okay. Now remember, Sean is not supposed to be giving any movements with his face, eyes, nothing. So I'm surprised the judge didn't tell him he's got to stay out of the trial, Sean Puffy Combs, because Sean was not supposed to be showing any type of contact, eye contact. And then we got to ask that, was he making eye contact with that black man during trial? Was the black man making eye contact with Sean? Were they googly eyeing each other like they're in agreement with one another that these charges are whack and not true? So you got to ask all those questions. Should a mistrial be granted? 7 people have voted already. 86% of you said no. 14% of you said you're not sure. Should the judge have removed the black man? 50% yes, 50% no. There you have it.
Far better to remove a juror that has issues as to candor or jurisdictional defects now than if a verdict was rendered. Because if a verdict was rendered, that could be a bigger issue of appeal, that a person gave an incomplete or wrong answer to get on the jury and then rendered either a guilty or not guilty verdict.
The defense raising concerns about the dismissal, noting that he was one of 2 black men on the jury.
The defense lamented that removing juror number 6, a 41-year-old black man, would make the jury less diverse. The judge said that was not a concern with this particular juror. He said he was sympathetic to the defense concerns generally.
Another poll.
But he noted the makeup of this jury already includes a number of people of color.
This week marks what's expected to be the final week of testimony in the government's case before Combs' attorneys take over to present his defense. The prosecution making their final push with exhibits they hope will help prove the charges of transportation to engage in prostitution. Federal prosecutors are alleging that Combs orchestrated a criminal enterprise with the assistance of his bodyguards to pressure witnesses like Combs' former assistant testifying as Mia to, quote, stay silent and not report what they experienced or knew.
The jury saw some additional messages from one of Sean Combs' longtime bodyguards. He goes by D-Rock. She said the outreach from D-Rock and from Combs himself made her terrified. Federal prosecutors no doubt want to leave the jury with the impression that Combs was behind the scenes pulling the strings as part of his alleged orchestration of a criminal enterprise.
The jury was also presented with text and audio messages meant to reinforce testimony from other witnesses about hotel rooms, drugs, and travel. One group of messages between Combs' chief of staff, Christina Corum, and Combs' travel arranger discussing the flight for Jane and an escort named Paul. In one 2018 exchange, the juror allegedly told Corum, quote, I can't do that violent, scary, kick me out of my own house stuff anymore. To which Corum responded, I'm sure. Stay focused, though. It's not worth derailing. That much I know.
The government will present this as we are getting information that Christina Corum knows about the violence towards Cassie from Sean Combs, and that she is saying, stay focused, don't get derailed. That could be a part of the coercion or the force in that RICO or sex trafficking charge. But the defense will make their own arguments and say that Christina Corum is not part of a criminal enterprise, but merely a confidant and friend of Cassie Ventura.
All right, let's stop there. So we've got text messages and audio being exchanged between Cassie and KK, former chief of staff for Puffy. So that means she knows about the abuse. The girl's writing her, text, hey, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of him putting his hands on me. It's not fair, blah, blah, blah. You don't really hear her consoling her, like, I'm so sorry to hear this. This is bad, I know. But listen how she's talking to her, like it's a business transaction. You don't want to derail from the situation. What do you mean derail? She acts like they're working on some type of legal document, or this is a work situation, which Cassie said it felt like a job to her. So that's, to me, it seems the way KK is treating what she's texting her about. Hey, this guy's beating me up. He's dragging me. I'm sick of this. So she's basically telling her, you don't want to derail from the goal. That's how I'm taking it. So what is the goal? Getting money from him? Getting bills paid? Because it's not adding up. You know, there's no empathy in the text message. Hey, I feel bad. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll talk to him. And I believe she said that I'll say something to him. Say what to him? He's grown. He's been doing what he wants for 30, 40 something years in this industry, which is blackmailing people, bribing people, shooting at clubs, getting handed guns back and forth to his staff members, security, getting people to procure drugs for him, using drugs, beating up women, violating people, keeping people's music rights, all type of crazy nonsense. What is it that this woman was going to say to him? Hey, your girlfriend texted me, told me you've been beating her up. Now you better stop that. You know that's a no-no. Don't you do that. He wasn't going to listen to that white woman. Who's going to tell Sean Puffy Combs what to do? That's the very reason why he's sitting in that courtroom right now in New York City. Because he thought his shit didn't stink. And a lot of people are like him. You can't tell them nothing. They know every damn thing. They're know-it-alls. They're out here hurting and harming people. And it's only a matter of time when the piper comes in. The piper comes home. That's what's going on here in New York City. The piper has come home. It's like in all the other cases you've seen with Weinstein, R. Kelly. I'm going to bring you an R. Kelly update because I just got notification that he's hospitalized. I don't know what that nonsense is about, but I'll bring that to you a little bit later. KK wasn't going to stop anything. And also, why hasn't she testified yet? Which means she has not been offered a plea deal by the state. If so, she would have testified by now. We don't hear that she's going to testify. That leads me to believe the state is still investigating this case, and possibly they will be bringing charges against Miss Cora. And that's what they're showing you in court right now. Text messages, audio, conversations to show she had knowledge of the King nights, hotel nights, freak-offs. She's aided in it. She had people over. She was over people who were assistants to Sean and telling them what to do as far as the freak-offs and setting up the room. She knows all about it. Which some could say, so what? So what she knew about it? But if she knew that there were prostitutes involved and there was payment for sex, that means she is a part of the conspiracy. Because you know that prostitution is a crime. It's a crime in most states. And a lot of people just don't want to accept that it is still a crime, prostitution, but it is a crime. You have knowledge of it. You're orchestrating people to do what they need to do for the freak-offs by buying items, the drugs. The state, the federal government says you are equally yoked in the conspiracy. So I will also put that up as a poll too. Do you believe these other participants, security personnel, assistants, are just as guilty? Although they have been given immunity. So that's why they testified and they have not been charged. Will KK be charged? We will wait and see. Last week for the prosecution's witnesses, this is the last week allegedly, for any witnesses for the prosecution. And you're also going to hear from Mr. Paul, the drug mule, who was on the jet in Miami last year when the drugs were seized in that bag. He got a diversion, which ended in December. He complied with the government, did what he was supposed to do, stayed out of trouble, get their record expunged or whatever. And now he has decided to testify for the government against Sean Puffy Combs. This should be real interesting, baby.
Prosecutors say the messages were pulled from electronic devices owned by Cora, who was not testifying at trial. Coram's attorney did not respond to requests for comment from ABC News. In a previous statement, regarding 3 other civil lawsuits she had been named in surrounding Combs, Coram said in part, "For months, horrific accusations have been made about me in various lawsuits regarding my former boss. The idea that I could be accused of playing a role in, or even be a bystander to, the rape of anyone is beyond upsetting, disturbing, and unthinkable. That is not who I am, and my heart goes out to all victims of sexual assault. I am confident that the allegations against me will be proven to be untrue." The prosecution is expected to rest its case as early as Wednesday, with the defense taking over by Friday They will make their case for what they say Sean Combs is innocent of all the accusations levied against him these past 5 weeks.
The prosecution has signaled that they have just a few more witnesses that will testify, including Brendan Paul, a former assistant to Sean Combs. We expect him to testify about providing drugs to Sean Combs.
If convicted on all charges, Sean Combs faces a maximum sentence of life in prison.
All right. Weigh in, everybody. Weigh in, weigh in. All right, that's the end of that commentary. ABC News is the source. That was uploaded 8 hours ago. So now I'm going to ask you about KK. Is KK a guilty co-conspirator alongside Sean Combs? Well, Puffy. Take the polls, everybody. There's so much to remember. All these people testifying, trying to remember everything. Lord have mercy. So once again, I asked you all about the prosecution removing the black male juror because he's black and they felt he would favor Sean. Nobody has taken that poll yet. And once again, the defense seeks a third mistrial over black male juror dismissed. Should it be granted? 86% of you said no. 14% of you said you're not sure. And once again, I also put up a post. Another juror craziness. Male juror was sent a text from unknown number asking him if he was juror number 6. He reported to the judge. No update as of yet to the findings of this message or the sender. Who sent this other juror that message? I'm curious. Are you juror number 6? Good thing he reported to the judge, because had he not, he got out. It'd been a hot butter mess. The defense could easily say, yeah, we want a mistrial because he didn't report this text message. This is a lot to deal with. All right, that's my commentary thus far. 22 minutes into this live stream. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the Vault XL. We've got videos shown to the jury members. People in the court cannot see them. They could hear a little bit of moaning through the earphones. Audio, I guess, clips of conversations between Sean, Cassie, KK, whomever. Is KK going to testify? Doesn't look like it thus far. Will she be charged as a co-conspirator? Probably. That's the reason why she hasn't testified. She hasn't agreed to a plea deal alongside Sean. The plea deal probably said, a couple years in prison. She wasn't willing to do that, so she's going to wait it out with her attorneys and maybe take it to trial if indeed they bring an indictment against KK. Should she be indicted? I'll put that also as a poll. Hold on one second, because I asked you if she was a co-conspirator. Okay. Now I'm just going to ask you, should she be indicted? I told you it's a lot to remember. I'm sure that guy that got off the jury is thinking, oh man, I messed up. Hold on. Okay. Take the polls, everybody. Once again, as I said at the beginning of this live stream, this is embarrassing, humiliating to have your business put out in the street. I don't care who you are, famous, wealthy, whatever, a regular citizen, it doesn't matter. No one should want to hear their sexual business repeated. And a lot of people feel like this is just a sexual case and a case of a man beating up a woman. That's how some people feel, especially a lot of men. I've heard, oh, this is a sex case, blah, blah, blah. I feel like it's a little bit of everything. I feel like it's retribution. I feel like the universe has said to Sean Combs, you have been a nasty human being. You have been a vile human being. You're getting your payback. You've done a lot of nasty, vile things to people, human beings, that you did not stand account for. And I want retribution. The earth wants retribution. God wants retribution. You've been nasty. And I agree. That's my opinion about this case. I do believe they've proven the prostitution case. The racketeering, the coercion with the, blackmailing people, the bombing of the car, forcing people to go over to Kid Cudi's house. That's all a part of coercion. Coercion, kidnapping, drugs, that's a part of racketeering. That's why a lot of people are confused about what racketeering is. In the RICO Act from 1970, all of that is in the act. So if you didn't know, that's what they're trying to prove against him. You have coerced people to do things. You have blackmailed people. You have bribed people with money, with videos. I'm going to tell on you. I'm going to put your business out here. That is a part of the RICO Act. And that's why a lot of you are confused, because you don't really know what the RICO Act is. That's what it is. Drugs, bribery, blackmail, coercion. So they have proven that. You have blackmailed people, Sean Combs. You have bribed people. When you forced that woman to go run over there to Kid Cudi's house and threw her in the car. The other girl forced her to go take the lie detector test 5 days in a row. Someone will say, well, she's grown. She didn't have to go along with it. See, everything's about your interpretation of what's coercion, what's free will. Most of these people hung on to Sean because they needed the money, they needed a job. And they knew that if they didn't comply with whatever he wanted done, whether they liked it or not, he wouldn't do nothing but go out there and put a bad name out there in the street about them. Because naturally, these people, allegedly professionals, when they did decide to move on, they needed to use him as a reference. And you already know he probably told them, well, I'm not going to give you a good reference. You didn't do what I wanted you to do. You weren't a good employee. That's why they end up wanting to come back to work for him. It's really sad. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, well, damn, they couldn't find work somewhere else. So I'm looking at everybody the same, like, why are you still working for him? Why are you, letting this man mistreat you, talk down to you, bribe you, make you go get drugs? All these people are spinning the same story. That's why they're not lying, because everybody's got the same damn story. He wanted me to do this, set up the room, buy this, fly this person in, do this, clean up the rooms, just nasty shit that I wouldn't want to do for nobody. It's one thing fetching your laundry, your dry cleaning, bringing you a cup of coffee, but cleaning up a room that you've been having sex in, pulling up sheets with semen and blood and all that on it. Are you serious? Urine, walking on carpet, flooring, where you all have period blood and all that type of stuff. I don't think people really are thinking about what these people were doing for this black man. This is why I said he thinks his shit don't stink. Even in the court, he's still showing you, I'm Sean Combs. I'm the head knocker. You'll do as I say. I'm invincible. You're not going to convict me. I'm even going to try to sway the jury with my eye movement, nodding my head, letting these people know this ain't me. I ain't this bad guy, but you are this bad guy. Because even after the judge warned you last week not to make any facial expressions, period, you walked right in that damn courtroom yesterday and did exactly what the judge told you not to do. So really, he should be barred from the court, because the judge told him specifically, if I see you move your face one more time, I want you out of here. He did it when the jury walked in and he realized, the black juror, number 6, 41-year-old black man, poof, gone, voila. He's self-entitled. And Sean's not the only person that has this behavior, this demeanor. There are a lot of people out here who feel self-entitled. That's why people do what they do. I can do what I want, when I want, how I want. You're going to do what I say. You don't like it, tough. And I honestly believe that's why Sean is standing trial for these charges, because he feels self-entitled. He's an addict. He's a narcissist. He's a sociopath. And he has no empathy for anyone, and that's obvious. So, will the defense try to seek another mistrial, which will be number 3? Will KK, his former chief of staff, testify, or will she be charged as a co-conspirator later down the road? Maybe perhaps after Sean has been found guilty, innocent or guilty, because I think that is what's coming. That's why she hasn't testified. This is the last week allegedly for the government's witnesses. Allegedly, on Friday, the defense will bring forward their witnesses. Who they're going to bring, I don't know, but allegedly somebody, a female who is the what I'm trying to say. She's the vice president of Bad Boy Entertainment. Excuse me. What is she getting ready to tell us? We didn't do anything. We weren't coercing people. We weren't using the company to pilfer drugs, sell drugs, run drugs, hide drugs. But when you're using the vehicles and the people going in the vehicles, any type of vehicle owned by Mr. Sean, you did that. If a person can prove I was in a car and got out of that car and went and bought drugs for Sean Combs with Sean's money, it's a crime. It's a crime either way. It's a crime if you walked on somebody's door, the dope dealer's door, and got it. You got in a radio flyer wagon. You understand what I'm saying? You're not supposed to be buying drugs. You're not supposed to be holding drugs, storing drugs. So everybody has committed crimes. And the state can prosecute you for that because it is a crime. You're not supposed to be buying drugs, period. And a lot of people did that for Sean. So see, that's been proven. The prostitution charges have been proven. The flying back and forth, flying the people in from LA, London. They've got the records now. He was stupid enough to keep them on his devices, which were seized during the raid in Miami and LA. That's what was on his phone. Flight records, itineraries. This shows you how stupid he is. He has kept these things. They all were stupid to keep these text messages, these audio clips, voicemail clips. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Why are you doing this to me? Talking this way to me. Okay, we got all that on text messages over the years. We're talking about going back to what, 2011? Or maybe 09 up until what, 24 of texting, audio clips, video clips, freak-offs on video, freak-offs on Cassie's laptop, which is crazy as hell to me. Why is this on your laptop? And also, I still want to know who gave the video of Cassie being brutalized by him in that hotel. Who gave that video to CNN? Because I've yet to hear who sent that video in. Now, I don't remember anyone saying that that guy who testified, who was working security, that Sean paid that $100,000 to. I didn't hear that he made an extra copy because he told the court, oh, I haven't seen the video since I first watched it on the monitor when my boss showed it to me. And I went and put it on my phone and showed it to my wife. Well, that means you had a copy still. And I'm assuming you would have kept that copy, would you have not? Remember I asked this question before? Did he or anyone else ever try to get more money from Sean for that video at the Intercontinental Hotel? Once again, she's receiving a payment of $10 million from the Intercontinental Hotel. They're no longer in business, but they're supposed to be paying Cassie Ventura $10 million. And then, of course, you know, Sean Puffy Combs paid her $20 million when she brought forward the lawsuit in 2023. And he did pay her the $20 million. So she's banking $30 million. But when you consider where she's living, I don't know if she's in LA area or New York City, that money's going to go fast. Common sense. $20 million ain't no money when you are accustomed to living a certain way. Okay? So we have all these people who have testified. Ex-girlfriend last week, Jane Doe. How does she feel about her testimony? Will somebody eventually put her name out there to who she is? Because they tried to do that 2 weeks ago. That's why that lady was in court jumping up and down and trying to yell out personal stuff about the lady, trying to reveal who she is, which is wrong. And you can be cited for that by the judge if you reveal anything personal about any witnesses. Because, you know, she used a pseudonym in court, Jane Doe. But will somebody eventually put her name out there? Will she eventually come forward and just speak and tell the world who she is and use her real name? But naturally, in court, people could see who she is. She wasn't covered up. So a lot of you may not have known that. But when she was in court testifying, everybody in the court could see who she is. That's why in the drawings you can see, you know, the hair pulled back and everything. She wasn't covered up in court. This is some crazy stuff. And as I said before, I, as a human being, would not want my business out here. I would not want anyone to know I was doing any of these things for Sean Puffy Combs. The sex acts with the men, the getting the infections, diseases, bribing my mother, my friend, putting his hands on my friend, her signing an NDA agreement, getting $30,000. My mother going to the bank to get $20,000 because he's blackmailing me, and then I get back with him days later. So even though a lot of people feel sorry for Cassie Ventura, I hate that he was putting his hands on her, but where I have a problem with her, and I've said this before, is once you're involving my mother, my parents, at some point I should say to myself, I got to leave this Negro alone because now he's messing with my family. You blackmailing me is one thing. You beating me up is one thing. You wanted me to do these freak offs and sex acts. You're parading other women around me as if I'm not important. But the day you call my mother and you ask my mother for effing money because you got tapes on me, oh, that's the day I would have grew some balls. Do you understand? I'd have bucked up to that Negro and told him, I ain't what you want. I've put up with your SHIT long enough. I want every tape, every drive, every tape you got on me. If not, I'm taking it to the authorities to show that you have been blackmailing me. And I would have recorded the conversation. Matter of fact, I would have recorded it for law enforcement. I would give a damn. You don't mess with nobody's mom and daddy. Just like you don't mess with nobody's child. That's why that woman went and got that money and took a loan out on her house to go get that line of credit, whatever. They went and got that money. And then he gave it back days later. So it shows you the mind games he plays. And Cassie fell right into it. And at some point, she should have said to herself, I'm worthy. I'm better than this. I have stooped to the bottom level, dirt level, to be with this man. And now he's up here messing with my family. You're going to blackmail me and then call my mama and ask for money? Hell no, you ain't going to get no money out of my mama. And I would have told him to his face. You have done some low down SHIT, but now you're messing with my family. So she should have went to the authorities and called him and let them record the conversation. And then I would have went and got a lawyer and I would have sued his black ass. And I would have asked for every copy of every sex tape, King Night, whatever. And I would have told him specifically, if a tape ever pop up on a porn site, somebody's phone, internet, hey, you going down, bro. See, nobody would buck up to him. And now, fast forward, a year and a half later, they're going to court. All this dirty stuff is coming out of the bribes, the debauchery, the foolishness, the sex workers testifying, talking about him orchestrating how he wanted them to do this and do that and rub baby oil, just stupid stuff that shouldn't even be repeated. Because what you do behind closed doors is your business. Everybody's entitled to have a sex life. No matter if I agree with it or you agree with mine, that's your business. But you should not be blackmailing a person. You should not be filming them, holding that over their head to get what you want from that person. That's wrong. You shouldn't be going in people's inboxes, phone lines, bribing their mother and fathers, beating up their friends. And that's where all of them messed up. You all could have took Sean Puffy Combs down years ago, but you rode the ride with his black ass. And he's now finally getting his just due in court. Now, he may not even be humiliated about all the things that's said about him because he's a narcissist. He probably don't even care that you know he's a freaky deaky type person. But he's dangerous and he don't need to be out here on the street. Because anybody that turns themselves into the authorities so they can go to trial and they have drugs in their room, their hotel room, that shows you he don't have no remorse. He's an addict. He's a drug addict, alcoholic. He don't care. I also believe he's a sex addict. I do believe he's got some deficiencies with his body parts. I don't think maybe he knows his full body part can function properly downtown. That's the reason why he needs to watch these people have sex. He don't know how to just go watch a porn movie with the woman, man he want to be with. He got to see it visually. He got to be in the room watching people sweating and baby oil flinging around. That just shows me he's sick. He's sick. And I won't doubt that he's probably in his past sexual assaulted people. Men, women, college, even maybe high school. Because he's got a sick, voyeuristic persona. And that comes from somewhere. And usually that comes from childhood. He's been doing some freaky deaky stuff as a child, teenager. He's been subjected to sexual acts, sexual behaviors. Somebody's probably touched him inappropriately. He probably was looking at porn, looking in magazines as a young person. Somebody probably introduced him to sex. And so now he's an adult. That's all he knows. His brain is hardwired sex only. He don't know how to talk to people. He don't know how to have real relationships with people. As you heard Jane Doe say, he told her, I don't have any friends. I don't have any real male friends, because he doesn't know how to talk to people and deal with people in a normal fashion. He doesn't know how to conduct himself in a civilized manner. His world is tunnel vision. I only see you as an object, whether you're a man or a woman. I'm going to use you to no end. I'm going to force you to do things for me, dirty things for me. You're going to stupidly go along with it for the almighty dollar. Well, we already know it ain't no dollar amount worth the stuff that these people have repeated in court. Okay? 20 million. You should already made that with the music, not the freak offs. And I asked that question too. Did he even pay her to do the freak offs? Hey, here's a check to do the freak off. Or did he feel like, well, I'm paying her rent, her bills, her car note. That's her compensation. Then Jane Doe, he's giving her 10 G's a month. Not per se, here's a check for $3,000 for showing up to the freak off. Hell, I'm already paying your rent, your bills. I'm sending you 10 G's a month. That's compensation for the freak offs, for whatever I, ding, 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 call you up on the phone. This man, Sean, to me, is a spirit breaker. He's that guy you don't want to have nothing to do with. He's shrewd in the business room. He's shrewd with relationships. He's nasty. And I'm sure there are more people out here who have a story to tell about Sean Puffy Combs. They just ain't told it yet. Because as somebody said on the news the other day, about a week or so ago, they said, imagine what you don't know. With all you've heard in court, imagine what you don't know about Sean Combs. What you have not heard yet. Exactly. Because there's more SHIT out here. The people just haven't come forward. That's why you got all these lawsuits. 100 plus lawsuits, 150 or so against this man for inappropriate behaviors, sexual in nature. Some are probably true, some may not be. You either believe it or you don't. But I can say it wouldn't shock me after what I've seen in court. He's a sexual predator, and he only sees sex and the human being as one. He does not see you as a human. He does not see you with a heart, a beating heart. He does not see you with a brain. He sees you as an object, something to use, manipulate, con. That's why all those people testified in court, talking about their dealings with him and basically how they stooped to the lowest level to do SHIT for him for the almighty dollar and to keep a job. And I don't care what nobody says. Paying me $65,000 a year to clean up nasty hotel rooms, touching dirty linen and towels so the maid won't see it. So what y'all doing, stealing the towels? Think about what you're saying. Are you taking the stuff out of the room? Because they keep a count of how many towels they put in a room. No, I'm just keeping it real. They keep a count of that stuff. So when the maid comes in and she sees all the towels gone, and she's going to say, well, where all the towels go? They stealing the towels. See what I'm saying? So I'm surprised that none of this stuff didn't get out to the public years ago. Him having to pay a retainer fee for the rooms because they left the room so nasty and filthy and disgusting. And some people stupid enough to say, oh, that's the maid's job. No, that ain't my damn job. Yeah, I know I'm supposed to clean up. You leave some stuff out, dirty towels. Okay. The bed's a mess. But not baby oil everywhere, body fluids everywhere. Who the hell want to go to work touching that? Gloves or no gloves? Don't matter. You don't have no business going in no hotel room doing all that shit. No way. Go take that to your house. Exactly. You're a billionaire. You got 2 homes. Go take that 5th to where you sleep. Why are you going in these people's hotel rooms, destroying their property, breaking stuff, oiling up, soiling up the drapes and all of that? Are you serious? And baby oil cannot come out of nothing. Cannot get oil out of carpet, out of sheets, out of the comforter, out of the coverlet, out of the drapes. It's oil. Now, when you start talking about urine, blood, fecal matter. Huh? Hell no. So don't say, oh, that's par for the course. The maid's cleaning up the room with that type of filth in it. Well, you carry your ass in there and you clean it up. You feel me? You go in there and you clean it up. And see if Sean leave you a tip for going in there cleaning that filthy ass room. He paid the hotel, not maid service. Housekeeping. Let me make that clear. He didn't wait for the maid to show up and say, here's your couple of $100 for cleaning the room. Sorry, it's a mess. He paid a retainer fee to the hotel because he had to, because of his previous filth he left behind. That's what they mandated from him in order to get a room. He doesn't have any respect for people. And that's what you've heard. 5 weeks of testimony, coming up 6 weeks of testimony. A man who has no heart, no spirit, no empathy for mankind. He has no respect for a man, woman, or child. And the sick part of the story is the fact that he's a father of boy and girl children. And as I told people before, no way you turned off this behavior when you were around your children. I got a funky feeling. His children have seen some type of sexual side to their father, because I'm trying to figure out how you're going to turn it off. You're this addicted to sex. You're a tyrant with people in relationships, business-wise and personal. And I'm supposed to believe, even as a father, you then would say, okay, I'm going to turn this side of me off. I'm going to play the doting dad, act like I care about my children, act like I love my children. No. It's only a matter of time that one of those children will speak up and tell us another side to Sean Puffy Combs. And that is exactly what I'm waiting on. Somebody's going to tell the truth, and it'll be one of his children. And they will tell us some not so nice things about Sean. And I pray that it won't be of a sexual nature. That's my commentary. Day 25, Monday. That's the commentary in this live. I will put some shorts up pertaining to what happened in court yesterday. And then I will come back on later, possibly tonight or early tomorrow morning, and bring you the recap of Tuesday's testimony, day 26. But once again, a black juror, 41 years of age, has been removed. He claimed that he lived in New Jersey, but first said he lived in New York. So they also believe he's also talked to somebody and gave information, perhaps. Judge has let him go. He was replaced by a white man, 57 years of age, an architect from Westchester, New York. And also there's some more drama with another juror receiving an anonymous text asking if he was juror number 6 that was removed. Don't know who this mystery person is that sent him the text, but this is a hot butter mess. And I won't doubt that the defense will ask for another mistrial 3 times. It's a charm. I don't see the judge granting it, but who knows? This is not looking good. And this is coming at the end of the prosecution's information and testimonies and witnesses. This is bad. So is there jury tampering? That's the next question I'm going to put on the poll. Feel free to take the polls. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comment below this video. And if you'd like to donate to this great network, $Big Angie 129 Cash App. Thank you for your time. God bless you all. Have a wonderful week. And my movie of the week is I can't even remember what it was. Wait, I had pulled it up. Oh my gosh, I can't remember. I watched it, watched bits and pieces of it on Tubi. Now I can't even think of the movie. Oh, now I feel so bad. I got so much information in my head, I can't remember everything because I was pulling it up to put on my community page. And now I got to, well, let me see if I got it in my search engine. Hold on, everybody. It's on the tip of my tongue. Wait just a second. I know, I'm going to find it because I want you all to see it. It'll come to me here in a second. I'll have to go in my little menu and pull it up. God, I can't believe that. It's right on the tip of my tongue. I can't believe I can't remember. This is crazy. Well, Oh, shucks. Hold on. I don't know why I can't remember the name of it. This is bizarre. I've been trying to remember everything verbatim that I've been reading so I wouldn't forget everything. Wake. No, it's got a wake in it. It's a weird name. Hold on. Show me where I last was. Hold on. Wakefield. I told you it was a wake in there somewhere. Wakefield is a couple years old. It's a very weird movie of this man who one day is late for work because the train had a problem. You know, his train took a train ride home from work. And he decides to play a little game with his family, make them think he's missing. All along, he's right there on the property in like this shed treehouse thing that's on the property. And he's hiding out in there watching everything from this other outbuilding on their property. It is the weirdest SHIT I've ever seen. I have not finished it, but I'm recommending this movie to you guys for the movie of the week. So pull it up. It's on the Tubi app. It's called Wakefield. It was made in 2016, and it is a crazy movie thus far. And I cannot wait to see what the ending is because I was watching it late this morning. I fell asleep because I stayed up late this morning, and I was like, how long is he going to stay in this outbuilding pretending that he's missing? I mean, it's bad. They've invited the family people over. They're watching the news, and it was almost like they were acting like he was dead. It was just really strange. But anyway, you check it out and tell me what you think, and I'll get back with you all with the latest developments pertaining to Sean Puffy Combs. Once again, this should be the last week for the prosecution to bring forward their witnesses, and then next week it will be, well, Friday's supposed to be the defense bringing their witnesses. Who they're going to bring, I don't know, but I believe the vice president of Bad Boy Entertainment, she's going to be, she's going to testify. I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much. You have been listening to the Vault Excel. Thank you.